Hi, my name is Sharfaun Shadimitiwan Sohaini, number metric 112292. I'm going to present about the introduction and my seafood ambal. This presentation delivers a comprehensive marine species and markets and consists of 5 common aquatic organisms found in daily Malaysian meals: ambal, canned sardine, shrimp, tuna sushi, and squid. By investigating their scientific classification, commercial catching techniques, market pricing, and culinary uses, we highlight the direct connection between marine biology and everyday consumer choices. Finally, we evaluate each species' ecological sustainability based on its carbon footprint, habitat impact, and harvesting method to propose safer catching alternative that supports marine conservation. Ambal, commonly known as the bamboo clam or razor clam, refer to the species such as Solan regularis, Solan lamersi, and Solan sarwacanis, which are locally identified as ambal jernang and ambal riong. Ambal catching techniques is highly specialized manual craft. The traditional harvesting of ambal in Sarawak is a manual specialized skill that depends on the harvester ability to spot subtle keyhole shape opening in the mud flats during low tide. And second, the stick and paste methods. This is the most common technique used. It involves dipping a wooden stick called a penugal into a mixture of lime and salt and inserting it into the clam burrow. Ambal market price is premium market price. Ambal is high value Sarawak delicacy costing around RM15 ringgit to RM30 ringgit per kg at wet markets like Medan Niaga Satok, with prices escalating significantly in restaurant for dishes like steamed garlic or spicy sambal. Ambal common recipe is like their price flavor profile. Ambal is celebrated for its sweets, delicate meals, and unique tender texture and subtle oceanic flavor, which traditional Sarawakian recipe highlight without overpowering. And then second one, diverse cooking methods, like we can see spicy chili, sambal stir fry. And now, sustainability evaluation. Carbon footprint. There are zero fuel extraction. The manual harvesting of Sarawak ambal has a remarkable low carbon footprint because it is done entirely on the foot during low tide, requiring absolute no fuel or heavy machinery. And the second, no habitat destruction. This traditional non-industrial method completely eliminates the greenhouse gas emissions. And then the third one, localized carbon cost. The primary environmental cost is strictly limited to local transportation from coastal mudflats to neighbor wet market. And then we got impact on biodiversity or habitat. Okay, there are zero bycatch. Traditional ambal harvesting has a very low impact on the biodiversity because it is a highlight selective technique that completely eliminates bycatch. And the second one, over harvesting vulnerability, because the mudflat habitat are easily accessible on the foot during low tide. The species is highly vulnerable to over harvesting and the rapid population depletion. And the third one, need for regulations. Unregulated and indiscriminate harvesting of juvenile clams disrupt population recruitments. And the catching method, no habitat destruction. The traditional lime and stick method is highly sustainable because it requires zero heavy machinery. And the second one, completely selective catch. This method eliminates waste by generate, no byproduct or bycatch. And the third one, not toxic to the environment. The slag, lime, and salt mixture used to entice the clams from their burrows is a natural compound that poses no toxic threat, leaving the delicate mudflat ecosystem entirely unharmed.
Hello, my name is Elena Nafisha. Now I would like to talk about the next aquatic organism that I frequently encounter in my daily meals, which is the sardines. While it is a white marine fish, it's staple in my diet in its processed, ready-to-eat meal forms, specifically as a canned sardines. The common name of this fish is sardine. Locally, we know this fish as ikan sardine, scientifically classified as Sardinella longiceps. The catching technique that we use to catch this sardine is the commercial fishing technique. This is because sardines swim in massive tide of school near the ocean surface. Vessel use method called purse seining. This involves surrounding the schools with a huge wall of netting and drawing the bottom close like a drawstring purse to trap the fish. In our local market, a small 155 gram can cost around RM 4.50 to 6.90 ringgit. This incredibly versatile for quick meals like spicy chili fried sardine, cooked with lot of onion and limes. Next is the environmental impact of utilizing this fish as food source based on 3 key factors. First, carbon footprint is moderate. While white sardines have a very low carbon footprint at sea, the canning process changed things. The industry manufacturing stage relies heavily on fossil fuels, creating noticeable factory smoke and greenhouse gases during high temperature sterilization. The production of tin cans and transport also add to this footprint. Secondly, the impact on biodiversity and habitat is low because purse net operate strictly in open water. They never drag along the scrapes the ocean floor. This results in zero physical destruction to fragile marine habitat like coral reef or seagrass bed. Thirdly, catching method risk. While the net itself is highly targeted, the method becomes unsustainable when commercial fleet use fish aggregation devices. This floating structure blindly attract other marine biodiversity, causing non-target wildlife like sea turtle or shark to get trapped as accidental bite catch. In conclusion, the sardine itself is highly resilient food source, but to make it commercial consumption to be sustainable, the industry must enforce FAD-free purse seining to protect marine wildlife. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Viviana Anna Lewis and my metric number is 101299. Today, I will present about white-leg shrimp, also known as Lithopenaeus vaname, and evaluate whether it is safe and sustainable of seafood choice. White-leg shrimp is one of the most commonly consumed seafood in Malaysia because it is affordable, tasty, and used in many dishes. The local name of white-leg shrimp is udang putih or udang vaname, and its scientific name is Lithopenaeus vaname. This shrimp is commonly found in markets, seafood restaurants, and supermarkets. White-leg shrimp is mainly produced through aquaculture farming, where shrimp are raised in ponds or controlled environments before being harvested. Some shrimp are also caught through fishing methods such as trawl nets, but farming is the main production method because it can supply shrimp in large quantity. In Malaysia, white-leg shrimp is commonly sold at price ranging from 20 ringgit to 40 ringgit per kilogram, depends on its size and freshness. White-leg shrimp is used in many popular dishes such as butter prawn, sambal udang, tempura shrimp, shrimp fried rice, and sweet and sour shrimp. White-leg shrimp production contribute to carbon emission through fuel, electricity, and transportation activities. Unsustainable shrimp farming and fishing may also damage marine habitats, pollute water, and affect biodiversity. Therefore, sustainable aquaculture systems and responsible fishing methods are important to reduce environmental impacts and protect marine ecosystems. In conclusion, white-leg shrimp is a popular and nutritious seafood choice in Malaysia. However, sustainable farming and responsible fishing practices are important to ensure white-leg shrimp remains a safe and sustainable seafood source for future generations. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sister Jalai and my metric number is 99245. Today, I'm presenting our analysis on tuna, which refers to fast-swimming open ocean fish like the skipjack tuna, or its scientific name is Casuarnis pelagis, and yellowfin tuna, Tunus albacis. Locally in Malaysia, it is known as ikan tokol or ikan taya. These fish have streamlined torpedo-shaped bodies with dark blue backs and silvery bellies for camouflage. They reproduce by releasing millions of eggs into the water for external fertilization. Tuna grows very quickly using a warm-blooded circulatory system that allows them to swim continuously and hunt small fish, squid, and crabs across the open sea. For the catching techniques, commercial fishing relies on large-scale operations. The most common is purse seining, where a giant net surrounds a school of fish and pulls claws at the bottom like drawstring purse. There's also long lining, which use a mile-long fishing line with thousands of baited hooks hanging from it. In contrast, traditional fishermen stand on the boat, use pole and line fishing to catch tuna one by one using a fishing rod. In terms of economics, tuna is an affordable, versatile daily staple. At wet markets, freshwater ikan tokol costs around 12 ringgit to 25 ringgit per kilo, and processed canned tuna is also highly accessible, averaging around 4 ringgit 50 cents to 7 ringgit per can. This is the sushi that I bought at Sushi King in Aiman Mall. So the local market price for this sushi is, for the tuna mayo kanken, is 2 ringgit 10 cents per piece, and next is inari tuna cheese, which cost me around 2 ringgit 60 cents per piece. Thank you. Now let's look at the sustainability. Tuna has a moderate high carbon footprint because large commercial boats must travel far deep into the oceans. They burn high amounts of fuel. Additionally, industrial factories consume significant energy to cook, sterilize, and ship canned tuna worldwide, making it much more carbon heavy than local coastal seafood. On the bright side, tuna fishing has a very low impact on the seabed. Tuna swim in the open water, so fishing nets never touch or damage the seafloor, leaving fragile coral reef and seagrass beds completely safe. Furthermore, skipjack tuna multiply very quickly, keeping their population strong. However, the ecosystem faces risk when commercial fleets drops floating objects called FADs, which means fish aggregation device, into the sea to lure fish. Tuna sustainability depends entirely on the method used. Catching free swimming schools is efficient, but using FADs is unsustainable because it causes high bycatch, which it means accidentally trapping endangered sea turtles, sharks, and baby tuna. In conclusion, the safest and most sustainable alternative is pole and line fishing, which catch tuna one by one and eliminate bycatch completely and prevents overfishing. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hazika, and today I would like to talk about squid.
So this is basically a squid, or locally known as a sotong among the Malaysian, whose scientific name is Tuithida. It's a marine animal that belongs to the class of Cephalopoda, together with octopus and cuttlefish. The general name of this organism is just simply just a squid, which they are soft-bodied aquatic organisms that are well known for their elongated body, tentacles, and ability to move quickly in the water using jet propulsion. Next, we're going to a catching technique which include edging, float fishing, and ledger rig. First, we have gagging method, which involves casting a single jig attached to a light fluorocarbon later. The angled in jerks or aggressively whipping the rod to make the lure dart through the water, while varying the sinking time to identify the depth where the squid are located. Second step is float fishing, which involves using an adjustable float or close-stay compatible bobber to suspend a squid lure at a fixed depth. This method is suitable for shallow water because it helps prevent the hook or lure from snagging on the bottom. Lastly, ledger rig, which involves using a passive setup where two large squid jigs are suspended above the ball sinker, resting on the seabed. This will allow fisher to leave the rod resting on a wharf railing or holder while managing another fishing setup at the same time. The market price of the fresh squid is around 20 ringgit to 40 ringgit per kg. Next is a common recipe of squid, which are highly versatile and commonly used in a variety of savory dishes that are quick to prepare. The key to cooking a squid is timing, either cook it very quickly within 2 minutes to keep it tender or cook it slowly through braising to achieve a soft texture. Example common recipe is sambal sotong, which is squid is cooked in spicy chili paste with onion and spices, creating a hot and flavorful Malaysian dish. Next, we're going to evaluate whether they represent a safe and sustainable food source based on the following factor. First, we have carbon footprint, which is squid generally have a low carbon footprint because they are wild caught and do not require feed, land or farming facility. They grow naturally in the ocean, so no greenhouse gases from the animal rearing system like cattle farming. However, fishing vessels use fuel in large-scale squid fishing, especially deep sea fishing, that can increase the carbon emission. Next is impact on biodiversity or habitat. Squid are fast-growing and have a short life cycle, so their population can recover quickly compared to slow-growing marine species. Overfishing in certain regions may still reduce squid number and disturb the marine food chains, as many predators depend on squid. Some fishing activity may cause ecosystem imbalance if squid are removed in a large amount. And lastly is catching method. First is edging, which is its more active and selective technique, using a squid jigs that target squid directly. This reduces bycatch and is generally habitat disturbance. Second is float fishing, which relatively is sustainable because it keeps the lure at a controlled depth, preventing damage to a seabed and reducing habitat disturbance. And lastly is ledger rig, which is less sustainable because it is a passive button-based technique that may increase the risk of seabed disturbance and can potentially interact with non-target species near the ocean floor.
In conclusion, looking at ambal, sardines, shrimp, tuna, and squid shows that our daily seafood choice have very different impacts on nature. By understanding how catching methods affect marine life, we can move from passive consumers to active protectors of the sea. Ultimately, keeping Malaysia marine life safe requires us to support sustainable alternatives like pole and line fishing, FAD-free nets, and LED lighting so our oceans can thrive for a long time. I think that's all from our group. Thank you very much.
My name is